I have allowed them. We are live.
Hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi everyone.
Hi. Hello. Good morning.
Hi, so my name is Manzoor. I'm the head of Center at ICE, and I've got with me today Ms. Michelle Lepore, who will be talking to you about the HND business, and Mr. Victor Soskin, who will be talking to you about the HND in computing. These are the two programs that we're offering. If you joined us yesterday, you would know in detail about the program overview. And today we're going to talk to the subject experts who will tell you a little bit in detail about both of these pathways and what options you have, what kind of a study program will it be for you, and the career pathways that you could take moving forward. So Victor, if you could start off with telling us about the HND computing and the benefits of getting this qualification.
Yes, certainly. HND computing is a level 4 qualification. It's a one-year course where the students will study 6 units over the course of the year. At the end of this, you've got the option of going on to some further advances. Pearson recommends, and if you can see my screen being shared at the moment, you will see that Pearson is recommending that there are pathways depending on the level 5 unit you take. So for example, if you take the software engineering unit, we have pathways to systems design or a business analyst or a games developer. If you take other units like the security unit, you can become a forensic computer analyst.
Sorry, Victor, we can't see the document.
You don't see the document? Okay, it appears that I'm sharing it. Let me try that again. Can you see the sharing now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So depending on the pathway that you choose to take at the level 5, you can either continue to a bachelor's degree with a one-year top-up, or you can start to look for apprenticeships or job opportunities as a software developer, systems analysis, or a business analyst. Right, now I've been told people are concerned about how up-to-date this unit is. While the specification has not been changed recently, the way the specification is delivered is to be brought up to date at all times. So for example, if an assignment asks you to develop a program using a piece of software, we would expect you to be using the most up-to-date software. If they're asking about legal requirements, we would be expecting you to use the most up-to-date legal requirements. So the written work in the specification is unlikely to change, but the actual content will change every year depending on the updating. And as you might be able to see at the top, this document has been updated and represents a 2020 update. Right, does anybody have any questions?
Yes, we will take a few question and answers at a little later on. Okay, Michelle, I'd like to come to you. Tell us a little bit about the HND qualification in business and what kind of different pathways. We've talked about a little bit about the pathways yesterday as well, the 5 different ones, but you as a subject expert, could you give us some more insight about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So HND is a 2-year program. The first year is equivalent to what we call a HNC, which is a higher national certificate. And the second year is reaches the HND, the higher national diploma. what you have the opportunity to do at the end of that program is to actually progress onto a degree program. So a lot of qualifications, a lot of degree programs are mapped against the HND framework. So if you want to go ahead and do a degree, you don't have to do 3 years of study on top of your HND. You can literally top up, which is a really sort of fantastic opportunity. And a lot of the universities and colleges actually accept you onto that top up as a result of successful completion of the HND. With regard to the pathways, you're actually quite fortunate at ICE that we run 5 pathways in total. A lot of institutions don't do that, so that's a real significant feature for studying at ICE. So the 5 pathways that you can go on to in business include general business management. So that's really, really good. If you're not quite sure which area of business you want to specialize in, or actually you want to broaden your knowledge on all aspects of business, that's a particularly good route for you to take. We do accounting and finance. So that's very much about building your understanding of different types of financial documents. It's learning the financial transactions, the terms, but also how to interpret and how to advise business owners in terms of their financial position, if you like. Entrepreneurship is one that I enjoy teaching. That's very much about developing new business ideas, about innovation, starting up your own business, and you get the opportunity to actually come up with your own business idea and pitch that, which is really, really exciting. HR, so the fundamentals of HR, talent and recruitment, performance management, those types of areas, and also marketing. So that's looking at your product development, research and development, your market research that goes behind it, and how you're going to develop that product, your pricing strategies and your promotional tools. So you're really, really fortunate that you've got the opportunity to sort of specialize, if you like, into very specific pathways as well. In terms of structure, year 1, you will do 8 modules altogether, and that's very much similar across all of the pathways. So in the first year, you do a lot of work in terms of understanding the background to business. So it's looking at the different industries, the issues that you would face in business, and also developing your management skills as well. So you'll cover a lot of generic management units that will act as a foundation to enable you to specialize. So things like HR, marketing, management operations, organizational culture. So it gives you a really sort of good foundation, really, for you to then go on to specialize onto those specialist pathways. In year 2, everybody will do 2 core units. One will be a research project. So you'll be developing a project around a particular theme, and also organizational behavior, which is very much based on organizational culture and how we motivate people and how we work as a team. And then you will do a number of modules that are specific to your chosen pathway. So you'll do 8 modules in year 1 on the HNC, and you'll do 7 in year 2, 2 of which are generic and building those research skills, and the others are very, very much tailored to your particular pathway. As we know, it's part delivered online, which is really, really good, particularly now as well in terms of COVID. If you think about it, a lot of businesses now will continue to go down that remote line of delivery and the remote way of working. So it's actually really, really good that you're developing those skills now and the ability to work via Zoom or via Teams and learn those communication skills. All the materials are on what we call the VLE, the virtual learning environment. So you've got access to all of your lessons, all of your materials at the click of a button from your mobile phone or from a laptop. So that's quite useful as well. Sessions are 3 hours per session, and they're covered over a period of 10 weeks at a time. And what we're encouraging you to do is to be interactive. So it's not going to be the lecturer stood at the front and talking and you listening. What we want you to do is to really apply the skills that you've learned. So we want you to take those skills and apply it to industry, apply it to your work experience, apply it to a sector that you're really, really keen to learn and develop in. You'll do a mixture of things, so everything from presentations to role plays and team activities. So it's really, again, developing quite a variety of skills that's going to support you to become employable at the end of the programme. You'll have a tutor as well, and that'll be the same for computing. So you have a personal tutor that are there really to support your academic study, so to help develop your study skills. Some of you might not have been to university or familiar with a college environment, so we're going to be helping you to develop those research skills and study skills. But they're also there as well to support your personal well-being and to help you pastorally as well. Just very quickly, because I know I'm talking quite a lot, just to give you the opportunity to ask questions as well. But in terms of assessment, you get 2 assignments per module. Those assignments, again, test a range of skills. So it's not all going to be essay writing or anything like that. It's very much about report writing, again, presentations, and applying it to different business scenarios. So it's not just identifying or repeating what you've learned, it's applying it to different situations, different sectors, different industries. You get opportunities on both programs to submit drafts. I'd really, really encourage you to make sure that you meet those draft opportunities. Those are there to help you. So the team are there to look at those drafts and give you guidance and to show you how you can progress and how you can focus on those higher grades as well. In terms of progression, basically your opportunities are endless with business, and that's the great thing about it. So you've got the opportunity to work in a massive variety of sectors. You've got the opportunity to work in very specific roles such as HR or marketing, as we've said, or any area of business really. So that is one of the key features of it. You could set up your own business at the end of it. We've talked about entrepreneurial skills, and that's going to really sort of inspire you to set up your own business venture, which is brilliant. Again, as I said at the beginning, you've got a real opportunity if you want to actually go on to a top-up degree, and there's 150 institutions that map the HND against that progression route, and again, that's something that I would recommend as well. I think I've covered quite a lot. If anyone
very much.
has got any questions, let me know.
That's very helpful. I'd just like to reiterate a few points. बिजनेस रूट सो जो सबसे बड़ी बात इसमें सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट बात है वो ये है कि यू हैव 150 यूनिवर्सिटीज अक्रॉस द ग्लोब all over the world जहाँ पे आप टॉप अप के लिए जा सकते हैं. So for a top up means a full bachelor's degree for business, आप जो भी pathway अपना select करेंगे you can go for a top up degree. जो दूसरी बहुत important बात that Michelle referred to that was about assessment based learning. उसमें आप you will start off with presentations, reports, essays, projects as well. Both business and computing will run a project जिसमें आपको practical applicable skills मिलेंगी जो आप apply कर सकते हैं in your workplace. I will now go back to Victor for a little bit more detail about the units that you study. We're offering 2 pathways. We've got the general computing and we've got software engineering. So Victor, if you could kindly talk about those a little bit and what kind of content students will be studying generally, and again, what sort of progression would they have with that?
Right. Right, can you hear me?
We can't hear you. Please go on.
Yeah, thank you. The base qualification at level 4 gives the option of doing 6 compulsory units, which is programming, networking, professional practice, database security, and running a computer project. And then there are 2 optional units, which will be decided in conjunction with the iQualify and with the students required. Once you've finished these units in level 4, then at level 5, you get to take more choices, where if you notice, these are units numbered 1 to 12. And at the level 5, we have higher level units, which will be these units. And again, it depends very much on the actual specification you take, which optional units you get. Some of these optional units are more free, but depending on the pathway, some of them are fixed. We look at all of these qualifications, we look at all of your units, and you're eventually given a grade, which will be a pass, a merit, or a distinction over your 2-year course. Now, every unit is given its own specification, and every unit is assessed separately. So when you are studying security, you will be given either 1 or 2 assignments to do for the security unit, and then you will move on to the next unit and study that one separately. Right, was there another question you would like me to answer?
Yes, in terms of the, I just have a question about the research project. Elena would like to know what does the computer research project entail?
Right, the computer research project is studied at level 5, so we're not looking at that in the initial guidelines. You'll notice that this unit is a 30 credit unit, which means that it's twice as big as all the other units. And what they will expect you to do is to do some individual research. You will write an assignment, which will be maybe 8 or 10,000 words long, along with some primary and some secondary research. Primary research meaning you actually have to do some research for yourself. Secondary, you're going to have to refer to other people's work. And the end result of this will that you will write a complete research paper with proper referencing, proper research, an analysis of the findings, and an effective conclusion. This will take approximately a year's study.
Right, thank you so much, Victor. I have another question about actually getting admission to the qualification. So can a science student who's been studying sciences, triple sciences, maybe doesn't have a technical background, could they start off with HND computing or software engineering?
Right, according to the Pearson requirements, it is possible for somebody to start, particularly if they're an older person. Some of the units that you will be studying at the level 4 will be a challenge, some of them less so. Now, for example, the programming unit, if you haven't done any programming before, you could find a little bit difficult. But this just means you're going to have to spend a little bit more time, perhaps, than other people to catch up. But in terms of the expectation of the unit, we will expect you to start from the beginning with no basic knowledge.
Right, thank you.
You'll have to do a little more homework after each week.
Right. The HND is structured in a way that it caters into account the fact that you do not have any prior knowledge or you're not very expert at the moment. So entry level students के लिए जिनको computing का background नहीं है, जिनके पास उनके लिए भी ये qualification suitable है. आप level 4 से start करेंगे तो आपको basic skills के साथ teaching आपकी carry forward होगी. Okay. So another computing question is. Okay, HND will help me develop the same level of expertise as a university degree?
Right, I've been teaching HND students previously, and some of my students have gone on to degree courses, and I've been able to benchmark the work of an HND against the work of a degree in a number of different cases, and there is no question that the expectations of the HND are very similar to that of a degree. The level of complexity, the standards that you work to are very different. There is one small difference between the degree and the HND, in that the HND, the assignments are open-ended. There is no word count limit, whereas in a degree you have a word count. So
Nice.
where you have to do an assignment for the HND, you have got more flexibility to put more content in, and you spend less time editing and focusing your work. But apart from
Right.
that, the level of learning, the level of study, and the level of performance is very much the same.
Okay. Right, I've got a question, Michelle, for business. What would be the best pathway? It's a very generic question, but in terms of HND business, what would be the best pathway out of the 5 that we're offering?
It depends on what your career aims are and what your career aspirations are. As I said earlier, if you're not quite sure if you want to specialise as such, but you want a broad understanding of business and of management, then I would certainly go for the business management specialism. If you're keen to set up your own business and you're very much interested in innovation and developing a business idea, then the entrepreneurial skills and small business is definitely the pathway for you. The others are very much more specific to a career aim. So obviously accounting and finance is what it says on the tin. Marketing and HR are very specialised towards specific vocations, if you like. So it very much depends on what your career aspirations are, really.
Could I please answer that also for the computing?
Yes, please.
Right. The first year is a common year, so there is no difference between the pathways in terms of what you will study and what you will do within the first year. The decision making comes in the second year, by which time you will have more knowledge about the courses, the units, and you will be able to make a decision more effectively at that time.
So specialist units are chosen at level 5, and students have a year to decide what pathway they want to take up.
That's correct. The level 4 units are common and generic across all.
Right.
As I said, we have to do 6 units out of which are common to everybody. We have 2 optional units, which gives a small difference between one college and another. But in terms of the pathways, all the pathways follow the same track.
That's similar for business. They do all follow the same, with the exception of the accounting strand. So the accounting strand for us has just one optional unit, which is different to the rest of them. But everybody else would cover exactly the same.
Right. Okay. There's a question about entrepreneurship. So if I do HND entrepreneurship, and I don't complete the top-up degree, am I able to run my own online business? So, e-commerce is basically the question.
I missed part of the question, Sombol, if they don't complete.
Sorry, I'll start again. So the question is from Alana, who wants to know if I do HND in entrepreneurship and small business management, but just stop there and not do a top-up degree, not do a complete undergrad degree, will I be able to set up my own online business?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So again, entrepreneurship, one of the elements of entrepreneurship is that you will develop your own business idea. So one of the units, unit 27, is about entrepreneurial opportunities. So you will actually look at your own business idea, your own business venture. So if it is an online company, you will look at what are the issues associated with setting up that business, what are the opportunities, how can you progress that. You will look at gaining market research, so you will speak to people that will be potentially end users of that business, gaining their feedback, so you're actually shaping your business strategy and your business idea. So absolutely, at the end of that program, if you want to go ahead then and set up your own business, you've actually got, in essence, a business plan ready. So when you go for investment, for example, or you go to pitch that to your customers, you've already got a lot of those foundations and a lot of that work done already. So absolutely, you would be ready to go.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. There's another general question from a student who says, I've done the first year of university. I'm assuming this is from UK, or I'm not sure where. Could I join in the second year of HND? That means level 5.
Yeah, if you've done what is equivalent to the HNC, you can then go on to the HND as long as you've achieved all of the requirements to a minimum of a pass level on the year 1, which is the HNC equivalent.
I think the only challenge with that is that you've got to get approval from Pearson for this, and this will depend very much on the individual circumstances and the individual qualifications.
Right, it will have to be mapped against the Pearson curriculum and whether it's been covered sufficiently. Okay, right. Okay, another one is HND more affordable and more valuable than a 3-year college degree?
Oh, that's a hard one to answer. I would say any higher education qualification is absolutely valuable. And for me, I'm very, very passionate about HND. I've worked on HND and degree programs. I don't think you can compare. They're both equal in terms of what they're providing you with. There's not one that's more valuable than the other. What I can say is from a point of view of a HND, you get absolute great grounding in terms of the range of units, in terms of the range of options to specialise. So one's not any less valuable or more valuable than another, but what it does is it gives you that breadth. And for me, as I said for business earlier, ICE have been really, really good in terms of that they're giving you the opportunity to really focus in on 5 different pathways. Over here in the UK, I don't know if you're in Pakistan or UK, the person that asked that question, but in the UK, you don't often get those options to specialise in so many areas. So that's the value for me for the HND. You've got lots of options to specialise.
Okay, Victor, would you like to add to this, the value of HND?
Right, if we're talking purely in terms of cost, and you would like to have a degree, I believe the most cost-effective way is to take the first 2 years of HNC and HND and then the top-up. There is no question that doing the HND is more affordable than a degree. There's no question that doing an HND is more accessible in terms of the fact that you don't need access to the country, you don't need access to the university, you can do it while working. You can easily do it from your own home. In terms of the value, a lot of it depends on who you're going to be marketing your qualification to. If you're looking to join a larger organisation, an international organisation, they would probably want to see the degree as your final product. But the HND, I believe, is the most efficient way of getting to that qualification in terms of time and money.
You're also getting 2 qualifications as well, because if you get your HND, you're going to graduate with your HND qualification and go through that graduation process. And then if you go on to then top up, you then get in a degree as well. So it actually really does add value to your CV as well, and when you're going for jobs and things.
Right, so HND itself is a standalone qualification, and then you add on another one with a top-up degree, so you get a full undergrad as well, plus a higher national diploma. So yeah, so in answer to your question, it's definitely a valuable qualification. आपके पास specialist pathways की option है, आप different areas में specialize कर सकते हैं, and आपके पास अगर आप top-up के लिए जाते हैं, even if you go to UK for a year's top-up, that will still be very, very cost-effective in terms of getting a full degree, especially as an international student. We gave that comparison in an earlier session as well. On an average, you'll be spending, I think, triple the amount of money every year that you would with an HND by comparison, probably even lesser. And we are bringing you the same quality of faculty and resources and teaching. So that is the differentiating factor that we have at ICE with iQualify UK. And that's what we're trying to provide for learners across the globe. I will also reiterate that in terms of the current situation, across the world, we are facing very difficult times, but we're adapting and education is moving forward with the creative solutions to how to make sure that learners still get access to their teaching and learning process, and we kind of still are providing. We will be providing online classes as well, online support as well, until we are back on campus. So we are still offering the degree, the HND, HNC qualification online as well, to make sure that the learners don't lose out on their time. We are all set to start the session in January, the classes, and if you're registering with us, now is the time to enroll and finalize your admissions and get ready for your study with the HND. Okay, I think these are all the questions I've had for now. Thank you very much for joining us today, for your time and all the very valid questions. Thank you very much, Michelle, and thank you very much, Victor. It was very insightful with all the detailed facts and the opportunities that you've highlighted for our learners today. And we will, I'm sure we'll have another session with the actual learners who registered with us. If you join us for the HND business, one of your module leads and tutors will be Michelle. If you join us for the HND computing, he'll be interacting a lot more with Mr. Victor. And thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.